When you think of World War II, you probably picture these massive armies, epic battles, tanks, and planes. But what if I told you the war wasn't just won on the battlefield? That one of the Allies' most powerful weapons was a secret, an incredible intellectual breakthrough that worked entirely in the shadows. We're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden engine that really helped turn the tide of the entire war. First, just to get a sense of the scale we're talking about, World War II was, without a doubt, the deadliest conflict in all of human history. Over 60 million lives lost, soldiers and civilians. The entire planet was just engulfed in this total war, with every country throwing everything it had into the fight.
So here's the big question. Was a war that deadly really won just by brute force? Or was there something else going on? A secret war, fought not with guns but with brains. A war of information that would end up being just as decisive as any battle.
To really get the answer, we have to rewind to the early years of the war. And honestly, for the Allies, the situation was looking incredibly grim. The Axis powers, led by Nazi Germany, just seemed completely unstoppable. I mean, by 1942, they controlled a huge chunk of the world, from the coast of France all the way to the edges of Moscow, from the deserts of North Africa and deep into the Pacific. It felt like their advance was just relentless. For the Allies, especially Great Britain, it was a question of sheer survival. And the absolute breaking point, the place where everything could have been lost, was out in the cold, dark waters of the Atlantic Ocean. This battle became the longest, most continuous fight of the entire war, and Britain's very existence hinged on the outcome. The main threat? Germany's highly advanced submarines, the U-boats. But here's the thing. They didn't hunt alone. They used this devastating tactic, coordinating their attacks in groups they called wolf packs. And their mission was simple: strangle Britain by cutting off its supply lifeline from North America. And they were terrifyingly good at it. In just about a year, these U-boats sank over 6 million tons of Allied ships. There was this one area in the mid-Atlantic, way out of range of Allied air cover, that sailors started calling the Black Pit. It was just that deadly. If your convoy entered that zone, you were pretty much a sitting duck. So how were these wolf packs so perfectly in sync? Well, the answer lies in this fascinating device, the Enigma machine. It was this brilliant piece of German engineering that scrambled their military messages into what looked like complete gibberish. This let the U-boats share their locations and plan these deadly ambushes, all in total secrecy. The Allies were desperate. They knew that breaking this code was the only way to win the Battle of the Atlantic. But Enigma was specifically designed to be unbreakable. That, however, didn't stop a secret group of some of the most brilliant minds on the planet from trying. Okay, so picture this, a quiet country estate just north of London called Bletchley Park. It became the home of this top-secret operation. The Allies gathered some of the world's best mathematicians, linguists, and puzzle solvers, including the legendary Alan Turing, all for one single purpose: to do the impossible and crack Enigma. And then, finally, in May of 1943, after years of grueling work and a little help from some captured German code materials, they did it. They had their breakthrough. A massive machine designed by Turing, called the Bombe, could now figure out the daily Enigma settings in under an hour. All of a sudden, the Allies could read Germany's most secret messages almost in real time. This one intelligence victory wasn't just a small win in the Atlantic. No, it fundamentally changed the entire direction of the war, and the impact was immediate, and it was dramatic. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. Before they cracked the code, U-boat attacks were constant and the losses were just catastrophic. But after May 1943, because they could read the Germans' mail, the Allies could just sail their convoys around the waiting wolf packs. Contact with U-boats dropped by more than a third. And their success at sinking ships, it fell to just a fraction of what it was before. And don't just take my word for how important this was. After the war, Prime Minister Winston Churchill himself said that Ultra, that was the code name for all this intelligence, was the key to winning the war. I mean, coming from him, that tells you everything you need to know about its impact. Now, here's the really clever part. The Allies had to protect this secret with their lives. If the Germans even got a hint that Enigma was broken, they just changed the whole system. So whenever the Ultra intelligence pinpointed a U-boat's location, the Allies would first send a spotter plane to fly over the area. That way, when the attack came, it just looked like the result of a routine patrol, not like they'd been reading the enemy's mind. So you can literally draw a straight line from this code breaking right to the Allied victory. First, you break the code. That secures the Atlantic. Securing the Atlantic lets you build up this massive force of troops and supplies in Britain, and that buildup is what makes the D-Day invasion of Normandy possible, which, as we know, was the beginning of the end for the Axis in Europe. So what this whole incredible story really shows us is that warfare had fundamentally changed. Winning was no longer just about what happened on the front lines. The Allied victory wasn't just won by the incredible courage of its soldiers. It was powered by these hidden engines. The industrial power to build all the ships and planes, the technological genius to crack a supposedly unbreakable code, and of course, the superior intelligence that gave them this incredible unseen advantage. It was a victory for the scientists, the engineers, and the code breakers, all fighting a war of the mind. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. The story of Enigma proves that getting better information than your opponent can completely change the course of a conflict. So it really makes you wonder, in our world today with cyber warfare and artificial intelligence, what's the new Enigma? And who, right now, is secretly working to break it?